gentlemen, with that, I now take the privilege of inviting Ms. Karin Widegren, Chairperson ISGAN. During 2010 to 2016, she held several positions at the Swedish Energy Markets Inspectorate, the Swedish energy regulator, and since 2017, she's been serving as an independent consultant and senior advisor to both the Swedish Energy Agency and the regulator, with expertise in electricity market design and implementation of new technology with focus on smart grid and demand-side flexibility. In March 2017, she was elected the chair of ISGAN's Executive Committee, the International Smart Grid Action Network. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Ms. Karin Widegren.
Thank you, and good morning to everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy to be here and having the opportunity to talk about ISGAN and our activities and the value proposition that ISGAN is delivering. ISGAN is both a clean energy ministerial initiative and a technology collaboration program, so-called TCP, under the International Energy Agency, the IA. Our objective is to provide a strategic platform to support high-level government attentions and actions for the accelerated development and deployment of smarter, cleaner electricity grid around the world. So you can say that our work is very much in line with the activities of this conference. So it makes me very happy to have this opportunity. It's also worth noting that ISGAN is actually the only global government-to-government forum for smart grid. Our participant base spans the globe. We have member countries from 5 continents, in total 26 countries, and the European Commission are members in ISGAN. We are organizing our work in 7 different working groups, what we call a nexus, and these working groups are covering different aspects of smart grid, and the work is managed by the participants from the countries, so we don't have large fundings. What we do is actually done by engagement of the members themselves in the work. Our value proposition is very much the network we form, which is an important channel for communication of experience, trends, and lessons learned in the smart grid field. We are also strengthening these networks by the participation with other initiatives. Within the Clean Energy Ministerial, we are working together with the 21st Century Power Partnership and the Clean Energy Solution Centers. We are also cooperating with the private sector, with the Global Smart Grid Federation, and are one of the supporters, of course, of the India Smart Utility Week. The typical results and deliverables we provide include policy briefs, technical papers, and case studies. We are also working a lot with outreach on smart grid in conference and workshops, and also webinars through our e-platform, which we call the ISGAN Academy, who are delivering webinars on different aspects of smart grid. We are also focusing to deliver real impact, and one of the measures we are using here is what we call knowledge transfer projects, KTP, where we assemble people from both the private sector, from governments and academia in in-depth discussion of certain issues and aspects of smart grid. And just last year, we have a workshop like this here in India, in Bangalore, focusing on microgrids. So this is more than a simple workshop. It's really a deep dive activities where we're trying to create real impact. Another deliverable of importance is also the ISGAN Award of Excellence, which is created to recognize and showcase leadership and innovation in smart grid. And this award is managed together with the Global Smart Grid Federation, who is forming the jury, and the prize is announced yearly at the Clean Energy Ministerial meeting, and this year's award is focusing on local energy systems and microgrids. So although we do a lot of technical work in our technical annexes, focusing on transformation and transmission and distribution technologies, we're working on a collaboration between laboratories where we're looking at different protocols and methods for lab testing, and we're forming case books on a specific issue. One case book on storage is on the way and will be published later this spring. But beside this technical work, we also recognize that smart energy systems are far more than just an integrated set of technologies. Smart grids are, as we all know, a very complex system, and they provide benefits rather on system level and on project level. So analyzing costs and benefits of smart grid application is an important part of our work. Their specific focus is, of course, that benefits can occur to various stakeholders, and the stakeholders in charge of the investments are not always the one who gain from them. So this is issues of which go further than technical and economical aspects, and involves policy transition and societal aspects, which are also core in our work. This is about assessing institutional and governance, a need for change, and of course regulation, and we also look into human behavior when it comes to customer engagement. To follow the trends in the smart grid development and adapt our work, because we've been around since 2011, we have also chosen themes for our work, which is right now flexibility and digitalization, and also resilience. And what we will focus, what we see here when we focus on flexibility and digitalization is really the need to have an integrated system view to optimize the use of flexibility. It has been already mentioned that the increased demand for flexibility is very much linked to the higher penetration and integration of variable renewable resources, where smart grid can help the hosting capacity, decrease curtailment, and also help with integration of both large and smaller scale. And also, of course, flexibility helps to foster an overall energy efficiency and resilience through controllability of a system and also energy efficient electric equipment in both the network and at customer level. So these discussions, what we have arisen during our work, we have come to look much more also to the importance of market design and how that will influence the deployment of smart grid. And a first step to leverage this focus area was taken last spring during the 9th Clean Energy Ministerial in Copenhagen, where we had a workshop highlighting opportunities and need to accelerate smart grid deployment through an innovative market design. And if you go to the ISGAN website, you will find a summary of the work and also a policy paper or a policy brief highlighting our review on the specific issues which need to be addressed to accelerate deployment of smart grid. On a very general level, of course, there is a European perspective, but we also try to focus on areas with a more global perspective. And so I will just conclude with mention some of the aspects we are bringing up in this work. We are dividing it in two different parts. One is very much about leveraging a variety of new stakeholders and role in the market, And the other aspects is about energy system integration and interaction. So you can call it like a bottom-up and top-down approach. And with the bottom-up approach, it's a lot about end users' active participation in the market. Regulation and rules has to manage conditions for implementation of AMI, data management, new trading platforms such as blockchain, standardizations, and so forth. Also, local energy systems need to be managed in a market design perspective and a regulatory perspective. It's very important to consider we should stimulate the solution for a sustainable development, but we also have to consider a fair distribution of network cost among end users, so we don't end up with a cherry-picking solution. We also, end users' engagement can also contribute to a more sensitive demand, using demand response. And for these, we need the right price mechanisms, of course, to get customers to act. And finally, flexibility resources has to be used there that makes most benefit. So an overall perspective on where flexibility resources can do the most for the system is important. On integration and interaction, it's a more of a traditional regulatory perspective. We need planning capabilities and a holistic approach to make sure that the market change and regulatory aspects we're working with are not jeopardizing the functioning of a market. The complexity giving us the need for ever closer cooperation between system operators, both of DSO and TSO level, and the management of data exchange is here very important, and this has to be done to safeguard the system, but also to don't jeopardize competition in the market. Efficient use of interconnectors is something that we have focused a lot on in Europe, with consistent capacity calculation and also taking the physical network constraints into account and with transparent information to all stakeholders. And finally, a broader energy system perspective, also integrating our energy vectors. And I'm happy to see how the India Smart Grid Week have developed to a Smart Utility Week, involving also our sectors. So this is very much in line with our own thoughts, although ISGAN is focusing on electricity. So, to summarize, accelerating the deployment of newer smart grid technologies through innovative market design will enable a broader, faster, and more cost-effective utilization of a range of clean energy technologies and increase energy efficiency on all levels in the energy system. And this will substantially transform how electricity systems are planned and operated and controlled. In here, policymakers and regulators have a key role to play in this challenging transformation, and policy relevance is really a top priority for ISGAN, so we will continue to include regulatory aspects and innovative market design in our work. And next step in this work will be at our executive committee, which will be in Stockholm in the beginning of April, so it's very close. And there we will have a knowledge transfer project or the deep dive workshop in relation to regulatory sandboxes and regulatory innovation zones, a 3-day work focusing on these aspects, which we hope will give new insights and knowledge to the future work. So with these words, I want to thank you.